FUNCLE's Customs, where I find all kinds of cars in different places. I usually fix them and flip them, but sometimes I keep them. This is My Garage Revivals. This morning I took a drive out to the racetrack to collect our next customer vehicle, which belongs to Mr. Diesel. Hello everybody and welcome back to My Garage Revivals. So yes, we just got back a little bit earlier this morning with the old Ram truck over here, where we went to pick up this Mercedes Wagon, which actually belongs to Mr. Diesel as well. So yes, we are going to just do a little bit of work to this car for him. It shouldn't take us too long. So it's basically suspension and engine, as this car's bodywork is in perfect condition. There's absolutely nothing we need to do to the bodywork or the frame of this vehicle. It's just a matter of getting this thing up and running again, because this engine is very broken, as you can see. So what I'm going to be doing is we're going to start today with this vehicle, stripping everything out, and yeah, just getting ready to start working on the suspension on this. But I also do want to start work on our 1969 Dodge Charger over here. So I'm going to basically take off all the good parts we've got on this for our 1968 over there, because as you know, this vehicle is a salvage title, so it's not going to be worth it for us to try and get this thing back on the road, because if we try and sell it off, it's not going to be worth anything. So for that reason, we are going to do a full rebuild on the 1968 we got that was actually in running condition. So yes, I am going to also build a new engine for this car. It's going to be a V8 powered vehicle instead of the inline 6 it had in it. So that is basically the agenda for today. So just to give you guys a little bit of a check quickly, I did manage to get this front left fender sorted out for the car, because obviously the one on our donor vehicle is rusted out, so that is a part that we are going to reuse. And I also still have all the other parts we took off, the good parts over here. Some of these are still going to be replaced, so I first want to see what the condition is of the parts on this donor vehicle before we go ahead and just buy new ones. So yes, I think without any further delay, let's jump into this Mercedes Wagon. So I'm gonna see where my toolbox is, right over here, and then we are gonna start at the bottom of the car. We're gonna unbolt the transmission and also the exhaust, because the exhaust needs to come out of the way over here. Alright, and I actually might have an exhaust for this car which is in a better condition than this one, so we'll just check up on our parts once we start putting this thing back together, what we've got and what we still really need to order. So I want to get these bolts undone on the transmission, and we can also take our drive shaft out completely. So that is also going to be out of the way then. The drive shaft doesn't look too bad, but it might still be worth replacing everything that is on its last legs, like this drive shaft. As you can see, it's not perfect condition anymore. So I think while we are here, we could have done the rear suspension, but I would rather just focus on getting the transmission out first. So let's lower this thing down again. Alright, so now there should be some bolts here we can reach from this side. Alright, there's one over there, and that should let our transmission drop down. So let's lift the car up. Alright, and there's our transmission. So it's also basically on its last legs, so we'll probably have to get a replacement for that. And then I think now we should be good to actually rip the engine out. So we are basically going to go back down again. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the fuel line on this vehicle. See if we can get this removed first of all. Alright, so let's allocate this table over here for all the Mercedes parts. Let's just get the seat out of the way. I'll put it down over there. Alright, and then let's see, we've got a couple of wires we need to take off. So let's take off the alternator wire over there. And we've got a earth cable over there. And I think that's all of the wiring on that side. And then we'll take this off as well as the one on the starter over here. And I think our engine is free. There it is. Right, so this is going to go on our engine stand, but I am not going to be doing the work on this engine myself. So there's a guy called Spartan who's a part of my Discord, and yes, he said that he will gladly take on this job for me, and he's not going to charge me a lot of labor. So obviously we are going to, yeah, negotiate a good price for him, and then we'll eventually get this engine sorted out for Mr. Diesel's Mercedes. But the suspension, on the other hand, that is something that I'm going to be sorting out. So let's pick this thing up again, because I want to get that front cross member and also the rear suspension removed from this car. Alright, so now that the car is up in the air, what I'm going to do is just remove the front shock absorbers over here, because that is one of the things that's going to keep this cross member from coming out. So yes, as you can see, this car is going to need a lot of suspension work. A lot of parts are going to be reusable possibly. Alright, but we've got it. Alright, so this shock absorber is also on its last legs. Alright, and then what I'm going to do over here, we're going to unbolt it over there and over there. And then let's quickly grab our angle grinder. Now we're just going to cut this weld loose over there, and same on the other side. And then there it goes. So we've got our cross member out with our whole suspension still intact. So that actually concludes this part of the project that we need to do at the front. So now we are going to move over to the back suspension. Alright, so we've got some bad coil springs over here. We'll get those removed a little bit later on. I'm not going to be bothered by those. Alright, so at the back, we should just be able to unbolt the 4 main bolts over here. Alright, just like that. So we've got those 2 taken out. And then we've got to take off our brake lines, which is, oh, it's hiding over there. And there's another one over there. Alright, let's just take these shock absorbers out as well, because that's also going to give us a little bit of issues trying to pull this whole suspension out. So I think we can reach it like this. Alright, let's come around this side for this one. That one should probably pop out. There we go. And then let's do the same with this one. Alright, this one still looks fairly good, but I would rather just replace the parts that we can see are worn. This one is absolutely still brand new. Alright, so now let's just get these bolts removed as well. Alright, we've got another bolt over here. Alright, so there's our rear suspension assembly out of the car. So that is yeah, something we can take apart now and see what parts are still good and what parts are still worn. So I can tell already there's quite a lot of parts we need to definitely replace, but I think there might be some parts that are going to be good at the back, because we've got a good shock absorber at the back. Alright, so and here's the 2 coil springs we also got out from the back. So the ones at the front are still in place, but I think we will be able to get those out once we get closer to working on this thing again. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave the car up in the air like this. Well, not this high, so let's just bring it down a little bit. Alright, so we'll just leave it like that so that we can at least lift it up again when we need to continue work on this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start unbolting some parts, because as you can see, I already did work on the hood a little bit on the car here, and I used a little bit of Bondo and I knocked it with the hammer a little bit. So I was able to get it quite straight. It just needs a little bit of preparation work for the paint. And then this will be ready to get put back onto our car. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to set out all the parts we're going to take off for now, just one side, so that we can at least differentiate the old parts from the new parts. So let's go over to this side. We're going to take off this good fender we've got now. So I did give this a little bit of bondo. It just needs some paint on it to get it sorted out. So we've got a lot of good parts now. Even the grill is straight now. I did manage to get that straightened out, as well as the front bumper. But I think the front valance might need a little bit of work still. But I will definitely check everything before I start putting this thing back together. Alright, so let's get this fender put down over here. Alright, and then we are obviously going to use this driver side door as well. So that is something we can remove quickly. So there should be, once again, a single bolt holding this thing down. Let me just see if I can find it. Alright, so there it is. Right, so this is it's much better than the one we took off the car, because the one on the car was beyond repair. So that one is at least something we can work with. Right, so I think let's move over to the front end over here. We've got the the front valance. We're gonna take off. So this should actually pop off, yeah, with the bumper. So that is a nice part. Still looks fairly decent, but I will have to check if there's any more dents on it. Alright, so now let's grab our screwdriver, this one, and then we're gonna see if we can get the grill removed over here, just like that. So I was able to salvage 2 headlights of the 68 grill, so we might see if we need some more headlights in this. It looks like we've got headlights in this. Yeah, they all seem to be intact, but as I said, I'll just make sure of the condition of everything before putting this thing back together. Alright, and then now we can take off this passenger side fender. Alright, so this fender is something we are not going to be reusing, because we do have a good fender from our car with no rust. And this one was also banged up a little bit, so that is something we're not going to really need at this point. So I already have got a buyer for the remaining parts of the Dodge Charger, the 69 over here. So once we are done with this thing and stripped it all off, I'm gonna basically load it on my ramp truck and deliver it to its new owner. Alright, so there we go. We've got our radiator support removed. So I just wanted to double check this. Yeah, I think that is definitely quite straight. So it's in much better condition than the one we took out of our 68 Charger. Alright, let's see how this radiator is. Alright, so the radiator isn't too bad. We've got another good radiator over here. I'll just put it on that side. Alright, so there's our radiator support. Just going to put it down over here for now. Alright, and then obviously we don't need this front left fender over here, or the fender liner, or the inner fender, whatever you'd like to call it, the front left inner panel. We've got a bad battery tray, so that's not going to be any good. Did we actually manage to save the one from here? No, I didn't actually. Right, so we might have to order a new one, because that one is also quite a little bit worn. Alright, so I think to make things a little bit easier, we're going to once again take out the engine. So we've got a decent exhaust on this side. It doesn't look too bad, so that means we've got a matching set of exhausts, because this is the right hand side. And then obviously on the inline 6 we had a left hand side exhaust, so that's actually kind of working out perfectly. Alright, so now let's get this engine pulled out. I nearly forgot the other exhaust now, so let's just grab this one quickly. You can obviously tell this is way too far gone. So we're gonna put that over here on the side just for now. Alright, so let's get back over here. We've got our engine we want to take out now. So did I get the lower bolt over here taken out? I think they both are out, yes. Alright, and let's come around this side. Just take out these two bolts. And then we've got our fuel filter over here, which is, well, not fuel filter, fuel line. So let's take the fuel line out. And then I think, if I'm not mistaken, we should be able to pull this engine out once I loosen these bolts over here. Alright, so there it goes. It is loose. Okay, so there's our crusty old engine, which isn't running. But there might be some good parts on this thing we could try and salvage. Maybe when we start building our own V8 for the 68. Which is going to soon be a 69. Alright, so let's grab our grinder again, because we need to cut this inner fender off here. Alright, so we're just going to cut it off. I think the battery cable is still holding it in. Let's just undo that as well. Okay, no, by the looks of it, it was loose already. Alright, and we've got a bad shock absorber on this part anyway, so we're not going to bother with that. So that can just stay on there for now. And then, looking at this thing further, we've got this side we are going to reuse. So let's get this removed. I actually do still have the old parts from the 69 over here as well, or the 68. Damn, I'm getting confused with the 68 and the 69 here. Alright, so there's a bad shock again. So that is not something we're going to be able to use again. Alright, so we're going to cut this inner fender off. Alright, so there we go. So now we've got a good set of inner fenders for this car. So we'll just put them down over here by the other one. Let's put them together like that. Alright, so now obviously we need to get this firewall removed, because that is something we're going to need for our other vehicle we are rebuilding. So let's take the doors off first of all. And this door still seems decent, but I think our door we took off is just as good. Alright, so let's just put this one side. Right now, what I would like to do is see if we can get this roof cut off. So first of all, let's remove the cowl again. The cowl panel is probably still secured somehow. Alright, there it goes. So we are going to need this. Have to do some de-rusting on that. It looks fairly straight. So that is always a win. Right, so now let's tackle this roof part. Or basically the roof. Let's see if it's going to come off as easy as that. Yes, it does. Right, so there is our replacement roof for the car as well. It's got a little bit of rust, but it's definitely fixable. I think let's cut this off. Because that way we can take this whole panel off with the trunk installed. Alright, we'll just set it down over there. Alright, and then... where did I put the... there it is. Okay, the angle grinder. Alright, so this quarter panel doesn't have to really come off, but I'm also going to check our quarter panel on our car if it's straight. So obviously if this is in a better condition, we'll just swap it out anyway, because we've got it. Alright, I think this is a good spot over here for it. Okay, now let's do the taillight panel quickly. Alright, so this is going to be the part that changes the look of our 68 once we get everything sorted out and put back together. Alright, so now just want to see, should we take out the quarter panel first for that to come out? I'm not too sure. Let's just cut over here as well. Alright, something is still holding something down. So let's cut all of these parts out. Might be something holding it in still over here. Let's see. Ah, there we go. Alright, so that was the weld we needed to get for this. Alright, so this is going to be our quarter panel we install on the car. So let's just put it down over there for now. Alright, so next up I'm going to basically cut off the rocker panels. Alright, so there goes that one. Just cut off this rocker panel. Although we don't need it. But we are going to use the other one we took off the car, which is still... yeah, it's rust free, so this part is a little rusty. So let's put this down over there. Alright, so now we've got our left rocker panel, which we need. This looks like it's rust free as well. So we'll set it down over there. Alright, so now we need our angle grinder, because I want to see if I can get this firewall taken out now. I remember in the last episode we also took out a firewall from the 68, and it also gave us a little bit of a challenge. So there might be another weld we need to cut behind the carpet. That's as I remember it. So we'll get the carpet pried out now. Should just pop out like this. And this is also a sad part, so very badly damaged. So that can go down over there. Right, so now I want to grab the wrench, because I want to see if I can just pull the seats out. Alright, so there's our driver's seat we're going to just use for the time being to move the car up and down. So that can just sit there. Alright, so let's grab our back seat as well. Alright, so this is a fairly decent black rear seat for the car. But we will probably just order some beige interior parts for this car again, because that is what it's meant to have. Alright, so now let's investigate this firewall. I think that should do the trick actually. Once we get our brake booster removed, or not really the brake booster but the brake line. There we go. Alright, so there's our bolt for that, and then there's our firewall. And we've got our dashboard taken out along with it and everything else that is attached to this, so that is also still intact. So we could actually just install this as it is once we get the floor cut out, which is pretty much the next thing I want to do. So let's cut this floor off over there. And over there, and over there. And then, let's just see, we've got a weld on the torsion support over here. Alright, same on this side. Right, so there's the torsion support, which is also not in a very good condition. So yes, we are going to have to order a new one of these by the looks of it. Because that one is bad and that one is quite bad. So that is definitely not something we are going to be able to reuse. Alright, so let's cut this floor over there. And that is the part we are looking for. Alright, so now I can clearly see we've got a gap on this floor as well. So that is something that's supposed to be like that. But here at the back we've got a decent gap spacing. And on the vehicle we are fixing up, we've got a major gap over there. So I think we need to replace this part as well. But what I want to do now is quickly grab the hose outside and just wash all of these parts off a little bit, so that they are going to be a little bit cleaner for installation. So yeah, I think we are basically ready to start putting parts onto our vehicle over there, which we're going to assemble again. So yeah, let me grab this hose and quickly wash these things a little bit. Alright, so what we are going to do now is I'm going to see if we can get our floor installed, and then we are just basically going to start welding parts back into place on our vehicle over there. So I'm just going to grab my welding machine from over here. So we're going to see what parts we can start putting back together, because I would like to get a little bit of an idea what this thing is going to look like and what we still need to do to get this thing sorted out. So yeah, I might have to actually jack this thing up a little bit. So let me try that first of all. Alright, we'll do it like this. Alright, let's see if that is gonna work a little bit better. Not yet, we need one on the other side as well. Alright, so that is a little bit of a fail. So what I'm going to have to do is probably start with the rocker panels and the quarter panel and just work our way forward. So we are going to try that and see if that is going to work for us. Alright, so let's just get rid of these floor jacks again for now. Alright, we'll just put that there for the time being. So let's start with our quarter panel over here, which will go on much easier. Alright, and then grab that, weld that into place for now. And then I think we won't be able to weld over here because this floor is bent inwards quite a bit. As you can see, that's a massive gap. So that's not going to get welded just yet. So we actually need to cut that out. So let's do that maybe. But I want to see what we need to cut off to get this thing out of the car first over here. So that's our donor part. Alright, so that's really not that bad. So let's start with this. We'll cut it over there and we'll cut it over there. And we might have to cut this one over there as well. Alright, so let's cut over there. And there we go. So that's our bad floor middle, or middle floor rather, out of the way. So let's see if the new one is going to mount to this once we get this welded into place. Alright, so do we have a spot to weld over there? We've got to change the inner wheel well as well, so the well as well, have to change the well as well. Right, so there we go, that is done. So now I want to see if our floor is going to mount. Alright, let's see if we are lucky. I'm not too sure if this is going to work yet. Yeah, there we go. Alright, we'll just pull it closer as we weld it. And that is that part of the job sorted. So here at the back, I don't think we need to change the trunk floor. Now we might have to actually, now that I look at it again. But it's actually, it looks like it's just this middle part over here we need to fix up. So let's see what we've got over there on this donor vehicle. Right, so we might have good wheelhouses as well on this. Not sure how these come off. Alright, so there's the one wheel well we definitely need to swap out, so we'll put it down there. I think the one on the passenger side should be fine. Doesn't look like it's rusted or anything, but the frame rails are definitely rusted back here. So we'll get those swapped out with the ones we've got on our donor vehicle over here. Alright, so let's get this cut out. Alright, so we are definitely butchering this poor car to pieces. Alright, so we've got our replacement middle frame brace. That's what they call it. So that is looking a little bit better, at least. Alright, and then we are going to need this little section of the floor over there. I've got no idea where to cut for this to come off. I wonder if this is a one piece, actually. So let's just check it out. If we cut it off like that. No, I don't think that is going to do the job. So it might be bolted on with the part over there. I'm not sure. Let's just see. There's another weld to cut over there. What is that going to give us? It's going to give us the frame rails we need. Alright, at least one of the frame rails. Just see if there's any more welds. Oh, there we go. We've got a weld for our taillight panel. Is that going to come out now? Yes, we've got it. There it is. Right, that is a part of the conversion to the 69 charge over here. And then, as for the frame rail over here, just see we've got a cut over there. Alright, so now there's our replacement frame rail. So, yeah, I don't think we're going to be able to take this section off here without causing too many issues for ourselves now. Alright, so now let's put this back into place over there. So I'm going to come and cut this off. Right, so there's our old one. Let's grab our replacement part over here. Put that into there. And let's weld it into place again. Right, I might be able to see this from the bottom again. Right, so there's the one. And there's the other one. So we're just going to weld it temporarily just to get the frame rails out as well. Because there is still quite a lot of things to do to this thing. So we've got our firewall that we can mount now. Let's put that on there. Alright, so let's get this welded into place like that. Over there, over there, over there, and over there. And on this side. Right, so now we'll grab our rocker panel. Put that into place and weld it up. Alright, so there's our rocker panel in. So now we're going to grab our old part we still have. Which is this one over there. So this is for the passenger side. So this can go back on. Over there. Alright, and then let's get that welded into place as well. Alright, now I want to see if I can get this rear panel mounted for the time being. Alright, so the panel is in place. Now I didn't wash it yet, but that's okay. We'll be able to still put it into place. Alright, so that's our panel in. So now I want to see if I can get these front parts of the fender mounted, but we're going to have to probably jack the car up now. So let's get some space over here cleared up. Right, so that's the right hand side. And that's our left hand side. Right, let's get this out of the way for now, because we've got some decent shocks on that. Front left panel, and then we still have to cut that out as well. So let's see what we've got over here. This one. And what, now looking at this thing is actually toast. Alright, so that is a little bit of a setback. Alright, so we're not going to bother with this then. So that thing is definitely not worth putting on the car. Alright, so we've got a couple of useless parts from our donor vehicle actually. Right, let's get this thing lifted up so that we can at least do the one side for now. Alright, so yeah, this thing is just gonna cost us money and more money to get fixed up. Alright, so let's get this side lifted up as well. Alright, let's get that sorted. Where's the welding machine now? Welding machine is at the back of the car. There we go. Right, let's put this over here. Just weld it up there, and yeah, there's obviously nothing to weld it to over here yet. We don't have our middle frame brace installed. Or the torsion support, because we need to order a new one of those, so that is going to have to wait for now. Alright, so let me just see what else there is that I'm going to be able to do now. We can mount the roof. So let's grab the roof. Let's get this mounted for now. Alright, that sort of fits. Doesn't look too bad. Alright, there's nothing to weld it to over there by the looks of it, so it's just going to be at the back for now. Alright, this is quite a big job actually. Didn't expect it to be as much work. But yes, that is the price you pay if you are restoring classic cars like these back to their former glory, and you take on a project that you think is going to be a quick one. Then it ends up being quite a lot of work. Alright, so I think the other part we can do is the cowl panel. So yeah, we're just going to install it with the rust and all, because obviously we are going to be sending this thing in for a paint job again. So Richard's Auto Body will sort out all the rust for us as well. Alright, so there's the welding machine. Alright, let's get this welded up. And there we go. Alright, and we've got the two welds for the roof on the sides over there. And over there is another one. Alright, perfect. So it's starting to almost look like a car again. So I think there's just a bunch of bolt-on parts we can start bolting in. So we are going to take the trunk off. Actually, looking at this panel where the trunk mounts to now, this is actually rust-free, so we could actually just quickly cut it out, because it's going to be very simple to do that. It's just a matter of cutting over there and cutting over there. We'll drop that in the trunk for now. So let's chuck this to the side and we'll get that one installed, because we do have it. Alright, and then over here we're just going to weld it back into place. Alright, so that saves the guys a little bit of work trying to get rust off. Alright, let's grab our trunk lid. And then obviously we've got a bunch of parts to bolt on still, like the doors and the one fender we can put on for the time being. So let's grab our driver's side door now. Yeah, this thing is going to almost resemble a car at the end of this episode. Right, let's grab the other door, which is our original door. It's got a little bit of rust, but that's fine. It's not a big issue. Alright, and then let's just get this bolt tied down. There it is. Okay, perfect. Passenger side door is installed. Right, next up we've got our front end parts, which we can't really do much at the moment. We can do our front left fender here. Let's get that in place. Right, bolt that down. And then I think the hood should actually go on as well. So we've got that part ready to rock and roll. Alright, let's bolt that down. Alright, now I think let's see if this radiator support wants to go on. Right, so we can get that on and weld it into place on the one side. If I can just get the welding machine over there. Alright. Okay, let's put this down over there. We'll just weld this radiator support on the one side now. It's going to be hanging over a little bit, but that's fine. We definitely still have a lot of work to do to this thing. Alright, but it is starting to come together. So let's grab our grill as well. We've got a grill and our front valance that can also be installed. Right, so there's the 2 screws for the grill. It's just going to be hanging on the one side now. And let's grab this front valance. There we go. Alright, let's grab our wrench. Bolt it down there and there. Alright, so I think that is basically how far I can go with this car for this episode. So I think that is going to be a wrap. So thank you very much for watching. I do appreciate every view, every like. And also, I wanted to ask, if you have not yet subscribed to the channel, please consider doing so. I will appreciate it very much. But until the next time, cheerio!